Hi, guys. Welcome to Leaders Lens, where you get relevant insight from remarkable leaders. I am your host, Ashley Martin, CEO of Leadership Lady. And today we have a phenomenal guest, Cedric Brown, the fashion designer and visual artist behind the Cedric Brown collections. You are in for a treat. I won't tell you too much about him because the conversation will reveal a lot. But know that he has been featured and his work has been featured on CNN, and some other phenomenal outlets. Welcome, Cedric. Thank you for being here today. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself? Thank you so much for featuring me on your platform. This is amazing.
Look, excited to have you. And just thank you for showing up. I'm doing well, considering all that we've had to endure over the past year, doing exceptional. So excited to have you here and want to know all about Cedric Brown Collections and how did you end up creating fashion that is literally artwork?
Okay, so let's take it back,
Yeah.
way back. Well, since a toddler, I grew up scribbling fashionable women on paper. I would always doodle. Let's say you may be at church, you may be anywhere, you could just be bored, and I was just scribbling everywhere, just at home all the time. And by fifth grade, I discovered what a fashion designer was. I was looking up to some of the big people like Sean John and Russell Simmons that had Fat Form and Sean John. And I also was looking up to Ralph Lauren. And I said, one day I want to have my own clothing line and I want to, be a big designer like them. And so years go by, I got involved in art before I really got involved in fashion. I won a few big art competitions when I was in high school. One in particular was this competition that was hosted by this company called Fox Teen Newspaper. And they had an art competition. It said, "What my future holds." And so I entered the art competition. It was a colored pencil drawing that I had created while I was in high school. And I had a couple that was in a park modeling my clothing line. And so this is the first competition I ever entered, and I won. I ended up winning first place. And winning first place, I wrote in there that what my future holds is I want to have my own clothing line. I want to have people modeling my clothing line, just like you see this couple in the park. And years later, I ended up later going to Savannah College of Art and Design. I studied fashion design there, and I used my artist background for just to make my brand unique.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And you can see in the design. I mean, you see the art right there. You see it. I mean, it looks like you can hang it on the wall.
Oh, thank you. That's my slogan. You can hang it on the wall, or you can wear it to the mall.
Love it. Hang it on the wall. I love that. It's memorable. How I mean, and this is amazing, and I love how you shared that this is something you just been thinking about. You didn't just think about it overnight. It's been a part of your journey, your life's journey, throughout time, and you've gotten to this point. You've worked with some pretty phenomenal people, and have been featured in a lot of press so far. How is all of that? How does that feel?
Absolutely. So, I definitely it makes me feel proud. And what something people always ask me is like, "How your mom feel about this?" They be like, "Are you?" And then I reflect. I do feel that I make my mom proud. I was reflecting on that today. And something else I was reflecting on like a few minutes before I even did this interview. I was listening to Future song "Savages." Even though that's like a street song, but he was like, "Who would think we was poor? Who would think we was poor?" And then, like when I think about stuff like that, that touches my soul. Like, who would think,
Wow.
just from where you come from and where you at now.
Right.
Like, so I want to even say that even more when years come down the road. It's like, who would think I was poor? Like, when you really see things is really blown up. But for right now, I just feel like I do feel blessed and to be able to pursue a career in the arts and have that be my full-time gig, not doing anything else, living in the city like Atlanta, I didn't have to go stay somewhere like New York or California or anything like that. So just those subtle things and living out my dreams, I feel blessed. That's how I feel.
Right. Look, that's a good word. Blessed is a good word. Um, it's something. It is so amazing about your story because you're so down to earth, Cedric. You're down to earth, and you're doing what you love. And doing what you love has led you on this very phenomenal journey. Here we have Lady May of Greenleaf. For those who watch, owns Greenleaf or watched owns Greenleaf. This Lady May wearing Cedric's kimono, and I remember I was in the living room, and my mother was watching Greenleaf, and I turned and I look, and I see Lady May, and I was like, "Hold up, I know that outfit from somewhere." And so it's amazing to one to see just somebody that you know and you're acquainted with, to see their work in on such a platform. That's pretty amazing. And I'm sure your mother is proud and happy. I'm sure the community where you come from, they should be very proud and happy for you as well.
Absolutely. When I watched the first episode of The Greenleaf, like I had been preparing for this for about a year. Like I actually thought that my designs were gonna be on the previous season because they taped season 4 and 5 at the same time. And so I had been, waiting. And when I finally saw it air, I mean, I was just blown away. One, when I got the opportunity and met the costume designer, I was just, at first I met the actor Lamont Rucker, and he introduced me to everybody, and I was just grateful to have my pieces to say I can. If it was on the extra, just to have my ties on whoever on the show, I was gonna be bragging up and down my stuff on Greenleaf. And I did not expect in a million years when I met that costume designer, she was like, "We're gonna get something for Miss Lynn Whitfield, who plays Lady May," because I had been watching the show, and I was not expecting that. And then not only to see her wear my stuff, to have her own it, but on this particular episode, episode 4, she had it on the entire episode. She did not take it off. So just all of that, like that was just a blessing because the next episode she wore another kimono, but it was like she changed clothes about 2 or 3 different times. But on episode 4, no matter what I watched, I saw my stuff on that screen, and it was just great for me promoting that. I have so many different clips and pictures that I could use when I was going out for press to get it written up and stuff. So I feel blessed, and the timing of this was great too because even though I was expecting for it to come out a year before, when it finally did come out, it was during COVID. Everybody's at home, everybody's watching TV, ratings are up, and not only that, I was better prepared to market that my designs were on the show too.
That's so phenomenal. It's so phenomenal. And you said a couple of things. One, the power of introduction, right? That one introduction changed your life, of your business, um, and then also timeliness, right? Timeliness is so important in business. We are in some interesting times right now. We just came out of 2020, and we're, fresh into 2021. Everybody's got, not everybody, but many people have a fresh new energy to keep going. Talk about what business has been like, since COVID and all of the things that have happened in 2020. How have you had to pivot?
Absolutely. My business definitely pivoted a whole lot. Um, every year of business, I've brought this up before. I like to bring up this Joel Osteen sermon that I heard that, not to be complacent. Every day get some fresh manna, and I have to apply that for my business because every year of my business it's been growing. My sales have increased, but the way that I make money every year is totally different most of the time than the way it was the previous year. So, for example, 2020, I had all these shows booked, all these plans, events, but the way that I really made my money was by doing pop-up shops, doing trunk shows, traveling around the country, doing big festivals like Essence Festival,
Right.
meeting people. And when 2020 hit and they start canceling all these festivals, these shows, plane tickets, everything, how I normally make money, the way I had been making money was totally different.
Right.
And, sometimes I feel like my spirit was leading me probably the beginning of that year. I was like, I signed up for an e-commerce business class, and it had a big, huge focus on Facebook and Instagram ads. And when I first got into the class, I paid my money, and I'm like, this is too much work. I really should have just paid somebody to do it for me because I ain't got time for this. I'm finna be on the road. And then once everything got canceled, I had all the time in the world to focus on that class. And then those ads and stuff. And when I started making I also started making face masks too.
Right.
Um, with the ads, the face masks, the green leaf coming out in the midst of this, my e-commerce business did a really, really great job. I mean, my sales were even better than it was me traveling across the country, and I didn't even have to do that no more. I was just making money
Wow.
being in the house. So
That's
those
what's up.
things, was a blessing.
That's major. And I love to hear stories like you where pivots have gone really well and you were ready to receive that, kind of that push that the pivot put you in. What have you had to do to prepare for that? Besides your face, you mentioned um, the Facebook ads class, but what kind of like mental preparation did you have to do to be able to adjust quickly?
I mean, definitely, I pray about things. I have mentors too that I have in business. But the thing is about this whole COVID thing, it was brand new for everybody. Even if I had the millionaire mentor or whoever, it was brand new. Nobody know what was going to happen next. Nobody, people were thinking like in 2 months everything was going to open back up. You were going to be doing this, you were going to be doing that, and nobody had the answer to it. So you really had to be praying and asking for guidance about what to do about the situation because nobody knew. It wasn't somewhere you can like be dependent on somebody and be thinking this is happening. I also had to you had to be fast with this too because the whole unemployment, the whole getting business loans, business grants. You had to be researching while you was at home too to know what to apply. I also got some business grants too. So you also had to be known. You had to be on top of stuff, and you had to move fast on a lot of things with the COVID thing. Everything was shifting fast. Everything was moving fast, and if you wasn't on it, you got missed out a little bit. So
Wow. Right. So staying agile and flexible and just ready to go. And that's a huge part of entrepreneurship. So future entrepreneurships who are entrepreneurs and those interested in entrepreneurships, make sure you're agile. Make sure that you know when you have to move because it things move fast in business, right? And you have to know how to pace yourself. But one thing COVID did teach us, Cedric, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. For many, it showed us how we had to move quick, but for others, it showed us where we needed to slow down. Did you find yourself slowing down a little bit in 2020?
absolutely. I already had the luxury of working from home anyway. I had kind of got out of COVID. This is going to be like my second year full time in business, so I kind of already was working from home. I kind of already was in control of my schedule. However, I did get to slow down because, like I said, I was on the road. I wasn't on the road all the time, but
Mhm.
I mean, I had plans of going out the country twice. I had plans of like I was gonna be in all these different conferences. I mean, I was in March alone. I was supposed to be in Oakland, Cleveland, St. Louis, like every week I was supposed to be somewhere different. And it was and then I was stressed out about inventory, like do I have enough stuff for all this? And then when everything happened, where I was just forced to slow down, and you know, I was just forced to slow down. Do that in the midst of COVID, that look for a property in an area that I wanted it. Things that I feel like I was destined to have, but if I would have been on the road, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
You wouldn't have had that time to
Yeah.
be able to do that. Right. So it gave you that time. to really take care of something extremely important. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Advocate for home ownership. Congratulations. So
Thank
it things work out like we were talking about before and gave you that opportunity to take care of something extremely important. So pre-COVID, current times, post-COVID, and considering all of this kind of like your journey, what has been a typical week like been for you? Like what are things you have to be mindful of? Somebody in your position, you work for yourself, you're doing amazing things. What's it like? What's a week like?
Every week is different. And like, okay, I was having a very good conversation yesterday with a friend that came to town to Atlanta. Like she came in October. Originally, the plans were when she came to town, I was gonna have time to hang out with her. But when she got here that week, I had a photo shoot planned. I had a speaking engagement planned. I had it was a new business competition that was like the deadline was the end of that week. And I'm like, I couldn't even dedicate the time that I was originally planning to do with her because everything had just shifted. And then it was like time for retail season for Christmas, like the first week of November. So it's time to be on my marketing and my ads. So the photo shoot was like a necessity. Like it wasn't something I could just blow in the wind. Um, so every day, every week for me absolutely is different. To be honest with you, right now, this week, I have this meeting conference. I'm doing a lot of planning for the new year. I'm thinking about new photo shoots I need to do, new product I'll be launching.
Right.
Um, and now I need to be recruiting some models. I need to be, every week is different. And then the next week, I may be so totally focusing on sales where I need to be making sure my ads are performing well. If something's not performing right, I need to look into the analytics of it, or what do I need to change about it, or do I need to change my audience? And then now I need to be taking out time to design something new. So every week is different. It is.
And what I'm hearing, Cedric, and I love, and I think people who, again, future leaders and entrepreneurs and business owners, moguls, all of that, there are a couple of skill sets that you have. Time management, I'm hearing. You know how to analyze data. Because you got to know when you got to be able to look at your numbers or look at all the ways you're able to capture information about your business and make the necessary adjustments, and prioritize. Right? You're like, look, I know this photo shoot is coming up, so I gotta take care of it. And the holidays are coming up, and that photo shoot is important, so I have to take care of that. So all those things are extremely important. What do you do to kind of take care of you?
Hmm. I'm still learning, and the
Okay.
time management thing has really. Um, I'm still learning it too, but I think because I'm in control, I feel like of me, and I don't have to work a job. Time management is a different from when like I feel like I was working in corporate or I'm in school, and even though you have to have time management, but it's kind of in control from somebody else. I do, certain things. I just do the most important thing that's for that day. Where I know the most important thing is it has to get done. That's what's gonna get done, but that's because I'm in control compared to if something was somebody else was in control of something, maybe I wouldn't have that time management how I have
Right.
it. If that makes any sense, I don't know. Maybe
It
I'm
does.
thinking.
It does. And thank you for being honest and saying you're still learning, because I think we're all, as you grow and evolve as a human being, but also layer that with you have your own business, you have to learn how to, I call it self stewardship. You have to learn how to engage in that in a different way, whether that's hanging out with your friends or going to dinner with somebody, a family member, or getting a massage or going to play basketball, or doing whatever you do that kind of just allows you to relax a little.
Yeah.
Um, you have it looks different in different seasons of your life. So that's good that you say you're still learning that. Don't forget to take care of you.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, years ago, I feel like I had a good time of, you know, taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I was on the road traveling a lot, like those were workcations for me. Like even
Yeah,
at Essence Festival, like okay, once the day is over with, we going to Bourbon Street. We finna go to the casino. We finna go get us some good food.
right, right,
If
right.
I have a show in Nash, I was able to travel places like Nashville, Boston, places that Las Vegas that I wouldn't normally go to. So even though I was there for work, I was also there because I'm young to have a good time. But at the same time, I do feel like I need to put even more extra care on myself, working out, making sure I'm staying in shape, that I'm not just because even though sometimes you're a businessman, you can start picking up weight in places you don't want to pick up. So you have to be like, you got to be thinking about stuff like that. I do think I need to even more. Um, but then, like this past week, I somewhat feel like I don't feel like doing anything. I don't want to do anything. I do need that rest. But then when you are the owner and you have to be thinking ahead, you just can't just always just not do anything.
Right, right. Yes, and you have to, as you grow older, your metabolism changes
Yes,
until you learn some other things, and you can't always eat what you want to eat like you used to. So yeah,
yes,
yes,
absolutely.
yeah, you definitely have to switch things up. That's amazing. But it's extremely important too. And now we have access to technology and all kinds of things. So working out is something that we can do. I love this Nike app that they have.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
oh, love the Nike app. And then you can find workouts, some trainers are virtual and then you can find our workouts on YouTube. So it's really not too big of an excuse in terms of accessibility, but it's a lot of times it's that accountability that you need to
Yeah.
help, that we all need to help. Talk to us. We're going to shift a little bit, Cedric. We all go through stuff in life. We've all experienced stuff in life. Is there any obstacle that you have had that you've had to overcome that shaped a lot of who you are and shaped how you see things?
I'll say in my career, I've had different things that happen that make me who I am, to be stronger and to make me to be consistent. And one of them is like, a big thing was like, going to art school. It's always like a big competition kind of thing. And if you don't really get what I wanted to get at the end of it, it can be a very, very big disappointment. And also just was finding a full-time job in the fashion industry was a difficult thing.
Mhm.
When I did get a job in the fashion industry as a contractor, I was laid off and wasn't really given a real notice. And so then it's like I had to really go all the way in into like my business. But from all those different challenges that I just told you, it also goes back to something I just said a few minutes ago that I never want to really give someone power, a company, or director, or teacher, or boss, whoever, to think that they have power and control over me. That if I'm not under their covering, that I'm not gonna make it. I don't want to give anybody that even thought that they can control that over me. I want to be broke free from that. And that if you once you get broke free from that, a lot of things change. The way I feel like I'm in control. I mean, God is in control, definitely. But
Right.
I don't ever give somebody that kind of power and control over me that I won't be successful if I get laid off, if I do this and that. Like, be prepared, have confidence in yourself.
Right. Wow. That I hear it's in your mindset, and kind of how you see things. Like a lot of responsibility there, which is incredible because at some point in time you have to have a level of personal responsibility. And I was talking to somebody about this just earlier today, just that awareness and a level of personal responsibility. And I hear that all in and out and through you. so so that's good. Any advice, Cedric, as we wrap things up, any advice for someone who may be one day interested in running their own business, or maybe working with somebody like you, or literally having their own fashion empire? What advice would you give them?
I had thought about this and I was like, I can make this. I'm gonna give them three P's. The
Yeah.
first P is persistent. A lot of people may say that they want to be an artist. I've been, just encountered people throughout the years from being in high school and college, and people fall off. They may say they want to be an artist, and then 6 months later, they're no longer doing it. So, did you really want to be an artist? Or 6 years
Mhm.
later, you're not doing that, or whatever. So, always be if it's something that you really want to do, the passion gonna come out when it's seeing how persistent you are, regardless of what obstacles you may face, regardless of what may looks like it's not working out. I mean, you have to really be researching. You have to really be going over and beyond. And to do that, I feel like you have to be persistent. Number two is to be prepared.
Mm.
Um, you know, always just be prepared. I look at like some opportunities that I have gotten. Let's say, for example, Miss Lynn Whitfield may call me sometimes, and it may be like something I need something today, or I need it tomorrow, or a week. It's never been a situation where I had a month or something to work on, or 2 months. Like if I'm not prepared, I could have missed this opportunity. So but you have to make sure you have the skills and stuff to be able to do that. But you want to also just be prepared, have that, being an artist, that flexibility that, you know, if this is finna jump out for me, I can jump into it because I'm prepared. And number three would be to pray. Um, I'm not sure that all the time do you pray for like your dreams and things that you're
Mhm.
passionate about, that you're not that you can just be open to God, that like even if it looks impossible and that this will never
Right.
work out or something, but you still pray about it and ask for it, anyway. That's just having that little bit of faith, you know. So
That's
that's the advice I would give someone.
love it, Cedric. Persistent, prepared, and prayed up. And I
Yes,
can attest to that. It works. It works. Love it. And faith
absolutely.
goes a long way in business. One of the things I was told, Cedric, years ago when I first started out is that entrepreneurship is a faith walk. Every day is a
Yes,
faith walk.
absolutely.
When you work for somebody else,
Absolutely.
you're used to that 2 week check, and then coach showed us that sometimes when people think it's secure, it's not as secure. But entrepreneurship, it's a faith walk,
Yes.
daily faith walk.
Being a salesman, I just realized is a faith walk. Like, you be hearing all those kind of parables and just stories about salesmen, and then I just have a whole nother different respect and just um but I do think it challenges you to do things that you wouldn't normally do,
Right.
or think outside the box that you wouldn't normally think. And it's even deep though too, that you have to. It's more to this. It's more than just saying you're an entrepreneur. It's more to just being a salesman. You gotta know how to budget money too. I think you gotta be thinking ahead.
Mhm. You do. Planning is extremely important. Extremely important. Love it. Love it. Love it. So that's my P I would add with yours. I love them.
A planning. Oh yeah, I love that too. Yeah.
Persistent, prepared, and prayed up, and make sure you plan. And you think you have to be flexible, but still it's good to have a plan than not to have one. So love it.
Yes.
Cedric, thank you so much. You have dropped some major knowledge, and hopefully, those that will be listening and watching you grasped and gleaned from Cedric, because he's someone you definitely can learn a lot from. Check out his amazing collections at www.cedricbrowncollections.com. You'll see everything that he has for men and for women, kimonos and scarves, and what else, Cedric? What else do you have on there?
Face masks. We have socks. We have button-down shirts. We have slip dresses. Did you say kimonos?
Say kimonos, yes.
We have the scarves. Okay. We have pocket squares. We have neckties. We have bow ties. We have a little something for everybody. I have new things that I'm dropping and bringing out this year as well. So
Awesome.
stay tuned.
Will do. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Cedric. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time. If you would like to be a guest or would like to connect, please visit www.leadershiplady.com. Have a good one, guys.